Good morning, power hitters, Solar Warrior Tribe. Today is Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. My name is Jarrett McAllister, your mentor and co-host, alongside Mr. Jonathan Brunasso. What's up, brother? How are you doing today?
Life is amazing. I was hanging out with Jim Bunch and Michelle, one of the co-founders of Powur. Over the weekend, they were out here in Vegas, and life is good. Freedom, income, helping people. How is Idaho, Jarrett?
Idaho's awesome, man. Yeah, I saw that on social media that you were out there crushing it. We were kind of doing the same thing. I had a couple top mentors in the company, Mr. Owen Carey, Mike Patterson. They came and visited us. We did a power snowboarding retreat up at Schweitzer, our local mountain up here, and had an absolute blast getting it in for a couple days nonstop. My legs hurt. So does my liver. So yeah, it was definitely a good time to be had. It was cool to kick it with some leaders in the company and have some fun.
That sounds awesome. Jarrett, the treadmill man. Is that your new name?
Never in 1,000 years did I think that's what I would be known for, as the treadmill guy. But hey, just own it, right?
Take it. All right. Before we get into success stories, Tom, I actually made this for you last week, just out of sincere love for you. So if you'd have a quote or you'd like to tell people to vote for the Andrea Budd Legacy Award, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Jonathan. I've got something quick today because Sunnova is such a big, important topic, especially in California right now, that I will be short and brief. Just wanted to share a Walt Disney quote with you all that I think is appropriate for us salesmen and saleswomen. So Walt Disney said, "The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing." We talk a lot, right? We probably need to do more, myself included. So also, like Jonathan mentioned, Andrea Budd Award, that should be in your email inbox from Powur. You get a chance to vote for one or more people that you would like to receive this award for 2022, who you think encapsulates best the vision and kind of the heart of Powur, of where we're headed. It's a super powerful, short, like 3-minute video that's in that email. I think we only have like 70 views on YouTube the last time that I checked that. Definitely watch that video. It will help you to understand not only our company culture, but also one of the co-founders of our company, who is not with us anymore, Andrea Budd, Jonathan Budd's mother. And this is a Legacy Achievement Award that is named in her honor. So back to you, Jonathan.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. And Tom won the first Andrea Budd Award and got to go to Paris for just exemplifying all of what Powur stands for. And yeah, so go vote in the chat there for the next person you believe deserves that. I know a few of us, shameless plug for Rick Joseph, who's built this company, and a lot of the executives are here, and we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are without him. So he's one of the amazing ones here.
Thank you.
Cutting out a little bit, Rick, there, but all right. So I'd love to hear just 2 or 3 quick success stories. Type them in the chat as well, guys. If you have a new team member, maybe they have success, an ambassador, you connected with the realtor, you were on social media, you were calling HVAC companies. Tell us some nuggets. Bill Conley, let's go.
All right, Jonathan, thank you very much. Good welcome, everyone. Just want to welcome, signed up just about an hour ago, James Corbett out of Corpus Christi, Texas. One of, I think, 4 new consultants signed up with me this week. Very excited about building a team. I made a commitment to get 50 frontliners this year, and James is gonna rock the house. I'm sure of that. And got a couple of deals in this past week as well. So it's time to go.
Awesome, Bill. Always good hearing from you. Congratulations. All right. Let's do 2 more here. Thank you, Trey and Mike, for raising your hand. Trey is I was just talking to your dad last night, Trey. You guys are doing amazing things. And I mean, just even if you're young, nobody cares. It's no longer a limiting blocker for you. You're out there kicking ass, taking numbers. You're going to make a few hundred this year. So pumped to see you. Share some successes, my brother.
Thank you, Jonathan. Means a lot. Yeah, ever since I went to that leadership summit and, had that kind of big breakthrough and that removal of that limiting belief of me being young, like ever since then, I've been crushing it. Just this weekend, I closed 3 deals. So super exciting stuff. And I'm hoping to get on the Powur leaderboard this month. So that's the goal, but great things ahead. And I'm super excited and humble. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Trey. Congrats on those deals. I know you guys have a few more closes coming as well. So keep it up, especially with the NEM3. Mike Patterson, Florida badass battery mentor king, all the above.
I figured I'd give you one that leads into this training. Last few weeks, we've been absolutely crushing it with Sunnova leases. All of a sudden, coming out of nowhere, the last 2 I did with a no escalator clause on their lease are cheaper than our lowest loan, even with the tax credit. So I mean, it's hard to say no to that, and we haven't had our customers saying no. They've been saying yes and signing the dotted line, and that's what we like. So lead into this, pay attention. It's an awesome product. Just make sure you know what you're doing.
Love it. Thank you, Mike. And we do have a few tier 3s on the call today that are Sunnova certified. They have the portal access. They've been selling leases. If that is you, feel free to shout that out in the chat. All right, let's see if we could do 1 or 2 quick ones. Austin, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, what's up? I got my first deal with Powur after taking a little break when I transitioned from my previous company, and I had none other than Jarrett McAllister on the deal for me. It was a cash deal. My dad got it, or is going to get $1,000 as an ambassador for the referral. So it was a nice little slam dunk, and we had a lot of fun on the appointment.
We did, man. Yeah, great job, brother. That was a fun one. And that was what, a week and a half ago? We already have designs back ready to submit for permits. So great job, man.
There you
That's
go.
right.
All right, let's do Bill and Tony, and we'll move on here. Anyone else type them in the chat? Bill, what you got?
Hey, real quickly, JB, I closed that 2 solar and roofs in Pasadena. I mean, this one was 1 APN, 4 buildings, 4 roofs, 2 solar projects, 2 meters, Google Airs, Tidal Airs. I mean, it was like, there was like 30 challenges, but
you got it done.
Yeah. Plus, city of Pasadena, power and water. I couldn't really figure out, that was a tough one. It was a learning lesson across a lot of issues, the financing, which ones were under 50% or not, to do the solar and the roof. This one had other solar energy issues. So yeah, it was a complex deal, but it's done.
Wow.
So
congrats, Bill. That is how we learn the best, going through the challenges and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, last one here. Tony, if you can go ahead and share your success story.
Good morning, JB. How are you?
Awesome. How you doing?
Awesome. So on Friday, I had a meeting with a client. He wanted a couple batteries, and he got a little sticker shock from the price. So I asked if he'd considered a lease or ever looked at one. He said no. I flipped him Sunnova. I had some problems with my login, so I actually got reconnected with them yesterday and got him signed up. So Jay reached out to Jay on the weekend. He reset my Sunnova account, so I was able to get it done. And I don't really do a lot of leases, but I'm trying to hone in for, with NEM3, I think it's gonna be a big thing, especially with the 25 years on the batteries. That's huge. So
I agree with you. Right on, Tony.
I don't think.
Nice work. Good seeing you and a lot of you at the Leadership Summit as well. All right, I got a few quick updates, guys, and we'll get right to it. If you want, take a screenshot of this. Every Monday, JC has a amazing training with his team. Today we have Sunnova. Melissa Dawson does enterprise trainings on Powur Calendar every Thursday. We got Women of Powur, an amazing training series by a few of the women leaders here every Thursday. If you're new, please go to Power On, take an onboarding Thursdays, 12 and 5 Pacific. Always a great reminder. And then Building with Bobby, if you're here to build a team, that is a great training with lots of different people being interviewed on there. Like my brother was interviewed with a great team building training. Lots more on Power Calendar. It's getting really built out. Enphase is on there, Solar Edge, market meetings. We got leaders of the company running trainings on Power Calendar. And tomorrow, please mark your calendars, masterclass immersive and a CEO call around 9 Pacific to 1 Pacific. Try to pop in there. There's a lot of great stuff there. Next week, Mike Patterson will be our Valentine's. He'll be teaching us on batteries, and Solar Edge might be on that call. We're going to figure that out as well. And then February 20th to 22nd, Career Week. We're going to be going after solar pros, home services, real estate, and mortgage. If you're building your business, you definitely want to invite and attend into these virtual events. They're pretty awesome. Market development meetings are brand new, guys. Please check this out. You know, there's Florida, Nevada, SoCal, NorCal, Colorado, Texas. Their operations manager of every territory is going to give you an update for 15 minutes. You're going to hear from a few leaders in that territory. A few of you leaders are helping run these meetings, and we'll get more visibility and mentor deals as a result. So thank you to those that are doing that. But check those out, all in Power Calendar. And then we have an epic 2-day virtual convention, March 3rd and 4th, Friday and Saturday, live from the virtual 360 stage. This is free for you all. This comes with our Power membership. Guys, this would be a $600 convention. I mean, Jeremy Miner is going to drop 1 to 2 hours of training, and that guy is ridiculously expensive. It's going to be great. So mark that. And then some of us will be at SolarCon. Power is a major sponsor at SolarCon in Salt Lake City. And we're going big. Jonathan Budd is one of the keynote speakers. It's a great industry networking event. So just to show you some of the images, these are all in your emails. Tomorrow, the Masterclass Immersive, the Career Week. Guys, if you're not running an ad on Facebook, if you're not hitting EXP Keller Williams directory of realtors, green realtors, inviting into these, dripping on these people, calling them like Ramsey does, calling HVAC professionals, like you might be missing the boat. You might not want to make 300, 400K. You know, this is here for you to help you build your business, whether you want residual income, whether you want mentor leads, whether you want ambassadors. This is going to be a great 3-night event here for Career Week and the virtual convention, as mentioned, 2 days. And if you do want to go to SolarCon, just Google SolarCon, and I was able to get us a 50% off code, Power Up, if you want to attend SolarCon. It's not a power convention; it's an industry convention. 50% off, Power Up.
And Jonathan, I think that those discount codes, you know, your discount code, we've got 3 more days for that.
Okay.
So it expires February 10th.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I think Jake Hess and SolarCon made like a 30% code for all of Power. So yeah, if you are thinking about going to this, take advantage of the 50%. I'll see if I can get it extended, but yeah, don't miss out on that one. That's a good one. Thank you, Tom. Last 2 things, NEM 3.0, guys, the toolkit for those of you selling in California or know any person that has a pulse in California, owns a home in California, you definitely want to be checking out this toolkit. And Solar Edge even has resources on their website. I put in the chat as well. If you hit resources and then click NEM 3.0 here, they have some handy articles and materials that you can even share with customers around NEM 3.0. So super important on that. All right. I want to give you 1 minute of some Sunnova info. Mike Patterson already teed it up for me. Leases and PPAs are becoming more important. We're seeing higher interest rates. We're seeing NEM 3.0 in California. We're seeing batteries. It's more and more important. A few of the leaders went to the Sunnova convention in Phoenix, where they just outdid themselves. They had all the CEOs on stage from different companies. They were educating us and showing everyone why they're such a great provider and ecosystem. So TPO, for those of you that are new, that refers to third-party owned. That would be a lease or a PPA or a power purchase agreement. Escalators is when there's an annual increase on those monthly payments, and often these products have a 25-year agreement. Sunnova also has a loan, which I'll let Jay speak to more, but it doesn't show up currently on the credit report. In California, there's actually a production guarantee. So really cool offering for Sunnova. They're a publicly traded company. And lastly here, I'm going to put this in the chat. You all know how to go to knowledge base, but here is the Sunnova knowledge base. If you want to take the required certification, it tells you how. And then once you complete the certification, to get the portal access, you need to fill out the request form. And if you want to reach out to account managers before you exhaust all other training and resources, it's in here. Dealer support is in here, additional contact information, and then different states and dealer fees and training as well. And Rachel McDonald will be running a Lease PPA reoccurring training office hour as well, and Power Calendar. So you have a ton of resources. And I appreciate you being here, Jay. It was great hanging out with you in Arizona the other day. And I appreciate how promptly you respond to the team. You're helping the team. You're getting us off the ground. I look forward to what else we can do together. So
yeah,
I'll let you share your screen and take it away. And you're local, right, Jay? Southern California, Rancho Cucamonga?
Yep, I'm in Rancho Cucamonga. So I'm in SoCal. I'm in SoCal Edison land. So I'm in the mix of just some of the highest rates in the nation. And, you know, just a little bit of background about myself before I get into this. I've been in the solar industry for many years, working with one of the top, companies in the industry. I'm sure we've all heard of their name, Sunrun. I was with Sunrun for a long time on their national inside sales team. So I was selling deals from California to Connecticut, licensed all over the state. And so I'm really familiar with some of the nuances that some of these, little municipalities, like these little utilities, might have, and some of the requirements or caps they might have. So I'm happy to be a resource for you guys. And thank you for the compliment in terms of response time. That's one of my biggest things with all of my accounts. Power is not my only one, but I try to be, on point with my responses. I do apologize if I'm not always able to get back to you right away. But I try to be there for really, I think Power is my greatest account. I'm excited to be here because I think you guys have a lot of potential. Sunnova and Power's partnership is in its infancy stage, I think. And really our work that we're doing now is going to help to really boost and lay out a foundation for your guys' success here moving forward into 2023, 24. And who knows what the solar future might bring to us, NEM 3.0 coming up around the corner. But we'll talk about that a little bit here. I'm going to hop right into it. So this is our clean deal guideline. My goal is to get you guys from contract signing to glass on the roof. And I'm going to walk you through kind of what we look for in a home to make sure that the home qualifies, what we look for in the homeowner to make sure that they qualify. And then we'll quickly discuss kind of what products you can offer them, assuming they do qualify. And I think Jonathan might be able to even walk us through kind of a step-by-step, how do we enter a lead into the system, what that looks like. But so let's get to it. So property types, very simple, single family home, duplex and triplexes, townhomes, of course, condos, any residential farm or agricultural land. Those are all things that we would allow, pretty basic stuff. Not allowed, commercial or other non-residential properties. We do have a commercial arm And so if you do have, you come across that lead that might be a commercial deal, it's not just a no. Bring that to me. Circumstances may result in us allowing to offer a product for that particular lead. Multifamily housing units over 4 units. So 5 units or greater, we cannot offer a product for that homeowner, unfortunately. Investment and real estate and rental properties. This is a gray area. I know even now I still have clients that are real estate investors. They have multiple rental properties. They want solar on each one. This is telling you, no, we can't work with those types of properties. I'm here to tell you that it's a gray area. It's kind of one of those hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil things. We're not going to go above and beyond and verify whether or not this is an investment property for a homeowner. If they're on the title for the property, maybe the electric bill or the utility bill might be under somebody else's name, which is not really important. Hey, if I don't know that they're making money off this home, then no one needs to know, okay? It's when you do the online or the over the phone contract validation, where maybe things might slip up. I'm not here to tell you to coach your customer and tell them what to say, but again, it's one of those, hey, if we don't know, then that's it. I'm okay with that. No commercial farm or agricultural land or anything else. Pretty simple, straightforward stuff there. I kind of move on here. Now, in terms of the person, the homeowner, what's going to qualify them? We will work with individuals. We'll work with S Corps, C Corps, limited liabilities, general partnerships. If the property is in a trust, we'll work with that. If it's in a life estate, we'll work with that as well. Just a side note, if the property is in a trust or if it's in a life estate, just be proactive, get those documents because we'll likely need those in order to push this deal into the next stage. So that's important there. No government-owned properties, no co-ops, no nonprofits. Again, this kind of falls under all of that commercial kind of umbrella. We're looking for primarily residential, homeowners, basically pretty standard stuff across the board here. Now, what do our underwriters look at? So our underwriters are only looking at a few things. They got to pass credit. Again, it's got to be residential. The signer's got to be on the title and contract validation. Pass credit. 650 or 650 is the lowest threshold typically, and I'll go through some of these requirements here in a bit. We also look at the TEC score, which will be important to note here. I'll talk about that in a second. There's circumstances where the homeowner doesn't pass credit, but someone lives in the home with them and they're able to pass credit. That's fine. We can have both signers on the contract. We'll be able to push that through, no problem. So don't be worried if the homeowner has challenged credit. A little bit more specificity here. So no bankruptcies in the last 7 years, no derogatory accounts or trade lines. Again, we look at that TEC score. Does anybody know what TEC score is, what that is pertaining to? Don't all jump out at once. TEC scores are what is basically we're looking at. Do you pay your cable bill on time? Do you pay your water bill on time? Those types of basic bills that people have, those are all accounted for on a TEC score, and we do look at that. Currently, there are no debt to income, no income validation or verification for the underwriting process. Okay. So this is our so a little bit more about the no debt to income verification. What we would need on the credit application is very simple, just their completed form, the date of birth, and the social security. There is a way to check credit in Solo. There is a way to check credit in the Sunnova Hub. And if neither of those are working for whatever technical reason, or you get something that says, hey, there's a freeze on this credit, or hey, this credit won't go through because of potential fraud alert, then you would call in to our dealer support services number, and I'll provide all of that information here towards the end. And they'll do a manual check with you over the phone. This is the quickest, most bulletproof way to get credit verified, especially if you're with the homeowner and you're going through some technical issues. Just give them a call. They'll get it done in about 5 minutes. Okay, dealer support is a huge resource. And again, I'll put their information up here so you guys have that. Contract validation. So there's 2 ways to go about it. I'm not going to spend too much time here. Everyone needs to do a contract validation for every other lender, I'm sure. So you can either call in to this number here. We'll do it over the phone. It's very simple. If you guys have been selling for a while, it's, hey, did they go over this agreement with you? These are the terms. Do you understand? Kind of basic stuff like that. But the quickest and most easiest way is to do it online. And this is a resource that I wish I had at Sunnova or at Sunrun. I did not. Online validation is super easy. You go into your portal, you just verify your information, and you only have to do this one time. And now every single time that you have a customer and you need to go through that contract validation, you can just simply log online, have them go through the portal, and you're done in about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. And I know this is kind of, I'm shifting through these kind of quick here. This is kind of the end of that. Any questions so far on what we're looking for in the home, the homeowner, credit, anything like that? Awesome. No questions are good questions. All right. So assuming the home qualifies, the homeowner qualifies, what are we going to offer them? Sunnova, as a couple of you have mentioned, has a few different products. One, TPO, and underneath the TPO, the third-party owned umbrella, there's probably 3 or 4 different products that we'll go over. And then, of course, there's the loan. Traditionally speaking, we sold a ton of loans. But towards the middle, I'd say Q2 of last year up until now, the switch to TPO is it's something to take note of. As you mentioned, NEN 3.0 coming around the corner, interest rates are going up for loans. People are just not in the market right now. I feel like when you're talking to homeowners, the last thing that they want to do is take out a $30, $40, $50, $60,000 loan for really the purpose is just to save money on their power bill, right? So we got to keep it simple for our customers. And really, it's always going to be the utility versus solar, right? Not, well, is TPO better for this customer or a loan? That's really up to you, the rep, to decide before you have the conversation with a homeowner, in my opinion. If you give them the option of a loan and a TPO, analysis paralysis, right? We want to decide, hey, this type of homeowner, you know, maybe they don't qualify for the TEC, the tax credit. Maybe they don't want to take out a loan. We need to identify these markers before we're having the conversation so that once you lean into the product, this is the right product, right? There's no question or shifting between the products for the homeowner. So what sets us apart is really, in my opinion, our coverage, right? There are other lenders that you guys work with, Greenleap, Mosaic, you know, to name a few. These guys are just in it for the numbers. They're pushing the paper. They're selling the loan and they're selling the loan off, right? The debt off to someone else. That's it. They don't really care about the system itself, which is why their requirements to get deals through from A to Z are kind of more lenient than what we would have. We are solar as a service, which means we are taking ownership of this customer from the time interconnection happens for the next 25 years. And what's covered in those 25 years is system monitoring, system diagnosis, corrective maintenance, of course, limited liability, hassle-free management of repairs and replacements. It's on our insurance policy if it's a TPO product, extensive system coverage, energy guarantee for all 25 years. There's not another company that's offering an energy guarantee for that long. And more importantly, more specifically down here on the right, you'll see that we also cover batteries. Listen, batteries, in my opinion, is a huge thing to have covered for 25 years because I think we could all agree that batteries are not going to last 25 years. It's an inevitability that the battery will eventually need to be replaced, maybe around 10, 15 years, right? So to have coverage, including replacement of that unit for the next 25 years is a huge value add and definitely sets us apart from a Sunrun, for example, whose standard battery coverage is that 10-year manufacturer warranty. Unless you pay for the premium coverage, right? There is a cost for that additional coverage, whereas with us, it's covered front to back, head to toe for the next 25 years, okay? So I talked about an umbrella for TPO. So under TPO, and I'll kind of come back to this, there is 4 plans. So the first one is the equipment lease. Very simply put, it's balanced monthly payments. You do have an escalator option. In a lease, they're paying for the equipment, right? You're leasing the equipment, quite literally. There is no buyout option in a lease. It does have all of the protection for 25 years. Let me scroll up a little bit here. It is on our insurance plan. There is an energy guarantee again. Now the lease is probably our kind of second to most popular product outside of the PPA EZ, which I'll talk to right now. So PPA, Power Purchase Agreement. There's a PPA and there's a PPA EZ. A Power Purchase Agreement, for those of you who are new in the industry, is simply put, you are paying for the power that the system produces. You agree to a solar rate, and that payment is going to fluctuate during the year, right? So let's say you're somewhere on the East Coast and you have great summers, so your system is producing its max potential and your bill is $200. But you also get winters, and your system is not going to produce as much during the winter, right? There's snow on the panels, there's not much sun. Well, your payment is going to reflect that. It's going to be maybe $100, right? You're paying for what the power is, for the power that's being produced. Now, a PPA EZ is our most popular product. It's the most popular model, I think, in the solar industry. And it kind of very similarly mimics the Sunrun lease or PPA. And essentially, it's a agreed upon solar rate, but a fixed payment. So for every month for the next 25 years, it's going to be $200, which is great for some people. There are escalator options. I'm going to briefly touch on this. Escalators are, if you chose a 2.9 escalator, it's going to show the maximum year one savings. It's going to show that lowest possible first year payment, right? So let's say a 0% escalator is a $300 payment and a 2.9% escalator is $150 payment. By the time you get from 150 to 300, it's usually about 12 years for you to get from that 150 to 300, right? That's about the amount of time that's going to take for you to catch up to get to that same payment. So who do I offer 2.9% escalators to? I offer it to people who have stupid high electricity bills, so I can just show really max savings. I show it to people who are not going to be in the home for longer than 10 or 12 years. This is not their forever home. They just want to save money on their power bill. So I always recommend adding an escalator for those types of circumstances, because it's going to show them just that really, really low power bill. And even 25 years later, assuming that they stayed there for 25 years, that last payment is still going to be less than whatever their current utility bill is, right? I was paying $900 a month at SoCal Edison. I signed up for solar, obviously, which cut my payment down significantly. But by the time I would get to that $800 payment, even 25 years later, I wouldn't be at that, right? So that's kind of how, and I can go deeper into escalators with someone, as a sidebar if you have any more questions about that. We do own and provide insurance for the PPAs, again, energy guarantees. The biggest distinguisher between a PPA and a lease is that the PPA, you have the option to buy the system after year 5. So let's talk about that for a second. I have a customer that wants to own the product, but maybe they don't qualify for a TEC. There's other circumstances. They just want to, they're fixed on ownership, which is fine. I get that. When you go with a PPA and then you have the option to buy the system out at year 5, what's happening is we're doing a fair market evaluation on the system 5 years later. And you guys can assume, just like a used car, the value of a new car drops as soon as you drive off the lot. Well, it's the same thing for solar. There's not a huge used market for solar. So it's safe to assume that that same system that they wanted to own 5 years later is going to be pretty heavily discounted. So it's a great way for you to lock in a customer who's fixed on ownership but doesn't qualify for all of the perks of ownership, and say, you know what, you could still own this 5 years later. You're buying the same system, technically at a discount, right? So definitely a value add there. Now, if you wanted to pay the power purchase agreement 100% upfront, that would be called a PPA Flex. This is where the homeowner is going to receive the largest discount on their power. Steady solar rate, of course, all of those things still apply. But when you're paying for 100% upfront for this solar agreement, you're getting the largest possible discount. So this is a great option for people that have the money, don't want to own it, and just want to kind of be done with it. Our protection continues throughout the 25 years. Doesn't matter if you paid it off in 1 year or not. And again, this is the best way to get that maximum amount of savings, is through PPA Flex. Any questions so far on those products? Good. Cool.
Hey, Jay, maybe we could just do a few quick questions.
Yeah.
So how do we verify ourselves so we can do the welcome call from the portal? Tony asked.
Yeah, so let me go back to that. Hold on a second.
And we'll do Q&A at the end too, everyone.
Sure. So you're going to want to log into your portal. This is pretty much step-by-step here on how to do it. You're going to select the drop-down. And I can get these slides over to Jonathan. That way you can kind of disperse this out to your people. But we want to, you're going to have to upload a picture of your license or a passport, verify all your contact information. And then we'll scroll down. It's going to text you a link. You're going to open that. You're going to do one of those kind of like biometric, kind of where you move your head around and kind of the phone kind of takes a good picture of your face. And then you're going to hop back into the portal, and you should have all of that information already saved. And what's going to happen is the customer is then going to log into their mysunnova.com. You're going to provide them with their system ID, and all of your information is going to pop up. Essentially, it's going to show them a picture of your face, and they're going to say, hey, was this the solar rep that was working with you on this deal? They'll confirm yes, and then they answer a few questions, and that's pretty much it. Pretty much done from that point.
Okay, great. Someone said, any hindrances for people who aren't U.S. citizens, immigrated to the U.S. recently, have a green card? Do they need years of credit data? Is there like is it ITIN number or any knowledge around?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for a loan, there would be, I would imagine, some issues. Obviously, they would have to pass credit. So if they don't have any credit, then that's going to be an issue. And same thing technically with the leases, but I think there's a little bit more leeway in a lease, assuming that they do meet the other requirements, like they are on title for the property, for example, and let's say they don't have credit, but they have a qualifying co-buyer or co-signer that lives in the property. You know, there are ways to get around that. I would imagine that's very circumstantial. That doesn't happen all the time. So if that does occur, you know, feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to, you know, if there's any way around, you know, some of these circumstances, I'm always happy to do that. So
okay, great. Yeah, I know we have some of the Texas team, and some of us have clients in that situation.
Sure.
And then two more things. We'll do some Q&A at the end as well. The battery warranty, I know JC Rangel wanted to verify.
Yeah.
25 years on the battery, is that an extra cost?
No. So there's no additional costs that are associated with our coverage. Powur does have an extended warranty, I think, for 30 years, is what I've kind of heard through the grapevine. I think
battery.
No. Not on the battery, right?
No.
I think it's kind of redundant to sell them that type of protection when you have our protection as well. and you're almost overcharging the customer, I think, in that circumstance. But to answer the question directly, no, there's no additional cost for these coverages.
Okay, great. Cool. Thank you.
No worries. Now, of course, I didn't talk about the loan side of things. It's pretty straightforward there. I do have a cheat sheet that I'm going to kind of pass out to you guys here a little bit later. But all of the requirements for the signer are the same. Credit, all of that is basically the same. Now, for the loans, we do have 10, 15, or 25-year options. We have our lowest rate is 2.99 all the way up to 5.99 or higher. And you'll know exactly what the customer qualifies for after you've ran their credit. It'll give you exactly, these are the products that they qualify for. Let's say, for example, they have a little bit of challenge credit. You wouldn't even see 2.99 as an option. It would only show you 3.99 or 5.99, so on and so forth. I guess the main thing is that it's home, the owner owns it, right? The homeowner owns it. So it's on their insurance policy. It's not on our insurance policy, right? So it goes on the homeowner insurance. But the coverage is still the same. You still have 25 years of the coverage from head to toe, whether you own or you TPO the system. So either way there. I don't need to spend too much time on loans, I don't think, because I think we're all pretty familiar with that. What I do want to show you, if you guys want to take a couple of screenshots of these, this is, so this is our contact list. I'm going to go through kind of the roles here. Dealer support, they are my extension. They are me if I'm not available, right? If for whatever reason you're having an issue with processing a quote in our system or anything like that, you need to resend documents, it's not allowing you to do it. If I'm not available, then you can always reach out to dealer support directly at dealersupport@sunnova.com, or you can call into the line at 877-237-1813. We've spent a lot of time and money focusing on our dealer support team. We've grown this staff from 30, 40 to like 300. And so we're really focusing on how can we be a resource for our dealers in the heat of the moment. And I am only one man. I am the only account manager for Powur. There's maybe over 9,000 active reps with you guys. So as I said earlier, I'm not always able to get right back to you right away. This is a great backup in case I'm not available. The validation line, you can call to do the over the phone contract validation. Customer care is anything that is customer facing. So dealer support is anything dealer facing that a rep might need. Customer care is anything that a customer might need, right? So these are more than likely in-service systems already. They're able to call to our customer care line and we'll take care of whatever issues they might have. Of course, I am your account manager, so you can always reach out to me directly for any questions or concerns. There's another image here. This is a QR code. If you guys want to take a quick shot at that and it'll open up a link in your phones. This is to the Sunnova Resource Hub. So the slides that I just went through, for example, more in-depth video tutorials and training on how to build out a quote or how to do a change order or whatever it might be are all going to be found here in the Resource Hub. You can also access your dealer portal through the hub as well. This is a huge resource, you guys. You got to teach a man to fish, right? I'm happy to go in and walk you through how to generate a quote and do all of those things for you when I can, but I'm not always able to do that. And so being resourceful is going to help in your growth, right? So utilizing these resources here, I think is going to be tremendous for you. And then of course, I'm happy to fill in the gaps. It's when I have reps, and it's happened on a few occasions, but it's when I have reps that are like, hey, can you generate a quote for me? That's when I'm like, no, I can't. I'm not here to do your job. I'm here to help you do your job. And so utilize these resources, guys. Call in a dealer support when I'm not available. And I promise you, we're going to do everything we can to make sure you're getting the help you need. I'm going to leave this up here for a little bit, just in case anybody else needs to get this. But Jonathan, I'm pretty much gone through most of it. Is there anything else that you wanted me to touch on here before we move forward?
Awesome, Jay. Thank you. I know we had a few questions in the chat. One specifically around transferability. Maybe it's a lease or PPA or a loan. What does it look like to transfer that to the next homeowner if say sell the home, let's say?
So it's usually easier to transfer, and you know, I think everyone might have their own opinion on this, but in a TPO, we have a service transfer guarantee. So assuming that they qualify credit-wise, it really is just a matter of transferring over the agreement over to the new homeowner. It's as simple as calling into our customer service line, letting them know that you sold the property, that you'd like to transfer it to the new contact person, and we basically take it from there. Now, if you were in a loan, it's a little bit different. Obviously, you have an open loan on this product that's sitting on top of your house. So either the new homeowner is going to, either the seller is going to try to redeem those costs in the sale of the home, or the new homeowners are going to have to come in, take a loan out, and take ownership of that loan agreement. There's a couple of different ways about it. The reason why I'm saying it's a little trickier that way is because there's actual hard money involved, right? So buyer, seller, that's something that they're going to have to work out. But in a TPO, it's very straightforward. Like, look, you're going to purchase this home. Cool. It guarantees that we're going to transfer this over to you. You just have to be sure that you qualify. And likely, if they're buying a home, they're probably going to qualify. So usually there's no issue there.
So there is a credit check. Sometimes some of the contracts will say like credit check or pay $500 fee and then it transfers. So I guess that detail is in the contract, depending on the product, perhaps.
Depending on the product, yeah, for sure.
I put the transfer brochure in the chat there. That was really helpful. I think you might have sent that to me. And I just had a client transfer a loan when they sold their house recently as well. So
yeah. So it's definitely doable. You have I think a lot of the pushback from the real estate market is, does it really add value? But, to be honest with you, like when I recently bought my home, I wanted a pool. I'm not looking at homes without pools, right? So if I'm a homeowner, or if I'm a potential homeowner looking to buy a home and it has solar panels, I'm either savvy to that or I'm not. And I think overall, it's going to provide value to the home, no matter what.
Right. All right. I'm just going to go through some of the questions.
Yep.
And then if some people want to raise their hands, we'll stick on for a bit. And then I'll do an actual example where I enter a proposal and take it to the portal and then show you how to calculate commissions and monthlies and things like that here.
Yeah. Looks like we got a hand up here.
Someone also asked about liens earlier, and their products are UCC1 fixture filings, just on lease, PPA, or loans. So there is a UCC1 fixture filing, no different, business as usual there.
Correct.
And I know someone asked about a prepaid PPA or upfront product that might be new to some of you that haven't worked at the Sunruns or Solar Cities and things like that. You could think of it as a 25-year, 100% warranty from Sunnova. And instead of paying $30K cash to purchase it outright, the client can get it for $20K or $21K because Sunnova's keeping the tax credit. So it's a very interesting product. It's quite a nice product to consider. And I know some of you have come against competitor quotes by Sunrun against a full prepaid product as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
This would be our rebuttal towards that Sunrun product. And again, the largest savings that a customer is going to get is through what we call PPA Flex, that 100% upfront payment.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Do you know if the Sunnova coverage states that we're in is in our knowledge base resource, Jay, or is there a list of states that we are in? It's probably a knowledge base, I'm thinking.
I get this question pretty frequently. So Sunnova we're nationwide in most markets, but our relationship with Powur doesn't always offer Sunnova. So just because Powur is in one state doesn't necessarily mean Sunnova is offered there. And it kind of goes into the back end stuff, you guys. I'd love for Sunnova to be offered everywhere Powur is offered, like Massachusetts, to name one. I just opened up Virginia as a market for you guys as well. It really ties to Powur's infrastructure and installers in that area, Sunnova certified installers, more importantly. So if there is a market right now, we're working on Massachusetts. It's the biggest one that you're not in, that I'm getting a lot of requests for. So if there is a market that we're not currently offered, just reach out to me and let me know. And that's something that I'll definitely be sure to push through, assuming that it makes sense and that Powur can satisfy some of the requirements that Sunnova has.
Okay, great. And yeah, you can enter an address in the portal and find that out yourselves, or you can work with sales support and chat to ask that as well. Some more things here. Any updates on Sunnova working well in solo? Or, I mean, I tend to recommend just use the back-end portal, but any updates on the solo Sunnova integration? I know there's been some errors and tweaks going on there.
Yeah, so this is a constant work in progress. It's kind of a game of whack-a-mole, I think is the best way to put it. Or maybe like an onion, you solve one problem, you peel back another layer, and there seems to be another. So we did go to, just in terms of progress, we did meet with Solo at their headquarters in, I think, Lehigh, Utah. And so we take this relationship and this integration between Solo and Sunnova very seriously. We are aware of the issues. You know, as far as when will it be perfect, that's going to be hard to say. I want to say we made tremendous progress in terms of reducing the amount of errors that we've been getting, but there are still some, you know, nuances here and there. I side with you, Jonathan. I think as of right now, as Solo and Sunnova are working on our API and getting that background stuff taken care of, I think working the workaround is the best way to do it. And just to quickly highlight that, which Jonathan I think is going to go through in a bit, generating the proposal in Solo as cash, taking that information and transferring it into the Sunnova hub, and generating the documents through the hub, I think right now is the best and most bulletproof way.
Yep.
I have had reps report that they were able to go through the entire process in Solo, from beginning to contract signing, which is great. But if for whatever reason you are getting an error, the workaround is the most easiest way, even though it is not really easy in it of itself. It's a little cumbersome, but it's the most bulletproof way for you to get a proposal right away.
Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and have Mr. iPhone, see if you can unmute yourself there for me and with your hand up. Yeah. What question can we help you with? Oh, try to unmute one more time.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. I'll make it quick. One of the questions, by the way, this is Fred from Bay Area. Forgive me. Thank you so much for the presentation, which I believe you already answered, that the ITC will be forfeited on the lease and PPA. Is that correct to Sunnova from the homeowner?
Yeah, so to be clear, there is no tax credit on a TPO product for the homeowner. They don't own the product, right? We do. So technically speaking, we're taking that tax credit, and that's how we're able to offer them a lower monthly steady solar rate because of that discount that we take on their behalf. Tax credits only come to those with loans. I wouldn't even mention a tax credit if you're having a TPO conversation.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense. They don't get it. Doesn't matter to them.
And on the 25 years coverage, insurance coverage, for the battery, is that also the case in the finance? Forgive me if you've already covered it.
No, that's okay. And yeah, that is the same case. So whether it's a TPO or a loan, our coverage on those products are 25 years top to bottom.
One last question, and I'm going to shut up. TPO, what does that stand for?
TPO stands for third party owned. So again, a PPA, a lease, somewhere where the homeowner doesn't own it, there's a third party that owns it, right? So TPO.
Perfect. All right, let me see if we got a few quick questions in the chat, and then we'll get to some more hands here.
Sure.
if an owner with a PPA decides to purchase their system after 5 years, how's the purchase price calculated? And that is actually, Oliver, spelled out in the agreement. So when you generate that agreement, there is a gradual price, probably based around fair market value, or Sunnova has to just recoup some of their costs, but that is broken down in the agreement. Very easy there. And then Chris Perez asked, the install partners have some more requirements when doing Sunnova. And I'll just say yes, because Sunnova has such a great guarantee, they want to see a little bit more pictures of the wires, the way the system's connected. And, that could actually be a strategic advantage when selling Sunnova, that they do a little bit more due diligence on the front end. A lot of their products have a production guarantee. So the requirements, the shading, and even more pictures for the installers is something that happens, Chris. Yes.
And just to touch on that, it's again, we are solar as a service. We are not Mosaic. We are not Greenleaf. We're not lenders, right? We do obviously lend money, but that is not who we are. We are servicing these accounts for the next 25 years. They are your customer all the way up until interconnection. Once interconnection happens, they're my customer now. And so our trucks roll out to service the system, not power trucks, right? And we're looking at having a 24-hour turnaround time for that. So meaning 24 hours from the time a system is reported there's an issue, we're going to diagnose and try to fix it remotely. And if we can't do that within 24 hours, then within 72 hours from reporting, we're going to have a truck at that location doing whatever we need to do to maintain it.
Yeah,
that's not something that Mosaic or Greenleaf, any of these other guys are going to be able to offer you. Powur as a whole, as a company, really likes that too, because obviously it takes off some of that liability of that long-term ownership that Powur usually is going to have to take on when they're selling a Good Leaf or a Mosaic deal, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Jen asked about electrical panels, main panel upgrades. That's absolutely can be worked in as well. I'll show you here in a second. Yep. I think my brother might have asked about that gray area of roofing, adding roofs in, kind of turn a blind eye there.
Okay, so roofing. Again, it's not that we don't offer roofing accessory loans or that we don't want to provide a service for a customer that needs a roof. In fact, we do, and we do it often. But the way that Powur is structured with subcontractors, et cetera, and you guys are nationwide, it becomes it's a tall order to have all of the requirements that we have for our contractors, for all of these subcontractors to meet those requirements. So the short answer is, can you do a roof with Sunnova if you're in Powur? They'll probably tell you no, but there's a caveat. What people are doing is they're baking the cost of the roof into the cost of the solar system itself. So if you can manage to make that cost of the roof and the solar system all fit into a reasonable payment, then that's what most people are doing. And all we're concerned in terms of Sunnova is that final loan amount, right? Or that price per watt. All of your adders are included in that final price per watt. So whether it's an NPU, whether it's a roof, we don't really care. We're just looking at that final price per watt, right? Now, the issue is we have a cap on our cost per kilowatt, right? So our cap is $7. You cannot charge more than $7 per watt on a system, whether it's a lease or a loan, which is crazy. That's actually really high, but it's crazy when you think about it. For those of you who've come from other companies, like at Sunrun, I was selling $10, $11 price per watt. So I was killing people out there. I felt really bad about it now, but the cap is $7. So the caveat is if you can make the PV system and the cost of the roof all fit in that cap, then more power to you. But unfortunately, it doesn't always work out.
And 7 is in California. I think there might be slight variations per state. And you guys are really ethical and you do your due diligence. If we're not showing savings to a customer, we can't sell a lot of the TPO products at all.
Right. There is what we're calling a year one savings block. I'm glad that you brought that up, Jonathan. So if you're generating a proposal in the system and it's showing negative savings in year one, as of right now, we wouldn't allow you to sell them. It puts you in a hard place, though, you the rep. And with NEM 3.0 coming out, we are looking at how we can either improve upon that block to where it's not as strict, or removing that project block altogether to give you some more freedom. But we are very keen to do our due diligence and make sure we're doing it the right way the first time.
And the $7 PPW is including the dealer fee, just to clarify.
That is including the dealer fee on a loan. TPO products do not have a dealer fee. So you do have more room in a TPO, right? Because you have to consider the dealer fee. Let's say it's 35.99%. On a $7 cap, that means you can really only charge $4.50 or so, plus that dealer fee gets you to that $7 cap. So on a PPA or TPO plan, I should say, no dealer fee, and you have a little bit more room there.
Exactly. All right, we're going to do 3 hands raised. Yes, Carrie, the cap with battery is higher. We're going to do 3 hands raised, and then I'm going to show you an example real fast of how to put a simple solo proposal straight into Sunnova and see your commission. So let's go ahead and start with Tony. Let me make sure you can unmute yourself there. Give that a shot. Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Tony.
Okay, what's going on? So when I was loading up my for a proposal to get pricing, I had a battery on it, and when it asked me to input the battery cost at the bottom of the, basically it wouldn't let me. It was saying it was over a $1,500 max. So I don't know if that. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So again, there are caps all over the place here that if you're building the proposal out in solo as cash, solo is not taking into account any of these caps that we have. Right. So you kind of have to play with that number. You're overcharging by about $1,500 per watt. So for example, right now, a 10 kilowatt in-phase battery, I believe the max that you can charge for that is like $14,000, somewhere in there. Where it sounds like if you were $1,500 over, you were trying to charge like 15,000, maybe something like that. So you have to adjust that number to satisfy that cap.
Got it. Because what I did basically is I just moved the total price into the top, and then that battery cost, I didn't know what to do. I literally just put 1, but it went through. It was under 7 a watt, and it went. So I guess
that's a way to do it. You didn't really do anything wrong, per se. If you want, Tony, we can take like a sidebar, and I can kind of walk you through best practices there. You still generated the numbers. Those numbers are still accurate. It's just how you put it in is a little different, right? So I'll show you exactly kind of how to go about it and make sure that it's entered correctly for batteries. But you didn't really do anything wrong there. You just kind of did it different.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a little tricky. So a little flow chart or little video batteries in the portal would be super handy.
For sure. Put that together for you.
All right, JC, let's see if you can unmute yourself now.
Yes. All right. Thank you, JB, and thank you, Jay.
No worries. Nice to meet you.
Hey, thank you. So I have a question. I've got an email from Victoria at Sunnova, and
Victoria at Sunnova or Victoria Powur? Victoria Navarro?
Victoria Navarro Powur, I guess. Yeah, my bad.
She's at Powur. Yep.
So we have a system. I don't know. It was like a 9 kilowatt system or something.
Yeah.
And it's a 8 kilowatt system, and our solar proposal showed us it was 11,500 kilowatt hours. So she hit me up saying that Sunnova's numbers were 8,560. So there's like a very big discrepancy. Do you know why that may be, from 11,500 to 8,500?
Well, for starters, I would want to make sure that the design was transferred correctly. Things like tilt, azimuth, and solar availability. If those numbers are entered incorrectly, and I'm not saying that you did it incorrectly, but if those are incorrect, it's going to significantly change the numbers of the system. We have to be sure that we are accurately transferring that data over to ensure that production matches. Now, that being said, assuming that it was transferred over correctly, we do also use different shade studies. Right, so Solo does not use Aurora, for example, whereas we use Aurora for our projects.
Right.
So our shade study and your shade study might slightly differ. 8,000 to 11, I think, is a big enough difference for us to look into a little further, which I'm happy to do for you, JC, because usually that variance shouldn't be that much, but you will see a slight difference in those numbers. And Sunnova's numbers are always going to be a little bit more conservative because of our production guarantee, right? So, you know, the system, we're going to guarantee, we're going to say, hey, it produces 11,000 kilowatt hours annually. That same system very well might actually be producing 13, 14,000 kilowatt hours. So it really just does depend on, you know, it's a case-to-case basis. I'll have to look and see why there's a huge variance for you, JC. If you want to shoot me an email with the system ID, I'm happy to look into that for you.
Can we get your email here in the chat? I'll email you. Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of Sunnova deals, a ton of Sunnova deals.
That's right.
My assistant entered that one in, so maybe she made a mistake because, yeah, I mean, we're talking about 3,000.
Yeah, that's
huge.
That's a huge difference. I'm happy to take a look into it further and just be sure that everything's good.
Great. If we could get your email, that'd be great. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, you got it, JC. And yep, my email's in there. Jonathan just posted it up and I put it in there as well.
Thank you, sir.
Of course.
All right, Jay, I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone. And thank you, Jay. I'm going to go ahead and I think at this time share a quick solo proposal to the Sunnova portal. And so, yeah, I don't know if you want to stick on, Jay, for a bit or if you need to hop off.
Yeah,
but
I could stick on for a little bit.
We will do that, guys. If you want, type any more questions into the chat. I have about 30 more minutes and we can do some Q&A at the end. All right, so we all know how to get a solo proposal. You obviously need to make sure you design it, put in the right offset. I got some Q cells, solar edge, 10 kilowatt. I got production, 3%, 3%. That's solo, just puts that in for their standard burn-in. And we often overproduce these numbers, so we're very conservative on this. Here you can see the number of modules, the azimuth, the tilt, and the shade, which I'll show you in a sec. So I've got this dialed in right where I want it, 124% in California. I got my cache turned on here. Make sure my adders are right. I got concrete tile, and I've got some margin. Now, if you wanted to add an MPU or whatnot, you can go ahead and do that in here. And I'm going to make a $7,000 commission. So I did all that. And now I know my cash price, right? So if you have a question so far, type it into the chat. But now I have a cash proposal of how much I want to make. So I'm going to go over to the Sunnova portal, go to new lead, and I'm going to go ahead and enter the address. Make sure it dropped it on the right house. Fantastic. I'm going to hit solar system. That's the right address. And Megan is my homeowner. Going to enter some fake information so you guys don't call my lead and try to sell her underneath me. All right. Name, email, phone. I'm going to hit save and continue. She's on SoCal Edison. She's on a time of use 4 to 9 plan. And I'm going to put that her utility is going to be going up at least 2.9% per year, which it's more than that in Southern California. In Southern California, the post-solar plan will be 4 to 9 time of use, which is required under NEM 2.0. Perfect. Her annual usage, let's go back and click on this. She's using 12,386. So I'm going to put in annual usage 12,386. And territory doesn't really matter, guys. In SoCal, there's like 8, 9, 10. This one's probably 10. This won't really matter too much. All right. And so now it's saying system design, no system design. So I'm going to hit create new design. Now the modules for array 1 is going to be the Hanwha Q cells, and I'm going to select the 400 watt black. Now I'm going to go back to Solo, and you can tell we have one array on the back and one array on the front. So I'm going to hit system details, and I like to go in order. So this array, I have 10 modules, 2 azimuth, 27 tilt, 3%. So all you do is go 10 modules. You all saw I had this solar edge inverter, 7600. We're going to do one of those. We use unirack racking for most of our jobs here. The monitor doesn't really matter as long as you just put solar edge and then there's only one that comes up. The tilt we saw was 27. The azimuth was 2. The solar availability is the reverse of the shade, right? If the shade is 3%, the solar availability is 97%. So let's just double check that one more time. 10 mods, 2 azimuth, 27 tilt. And again, the solar availability is the inverse of the shade. So 97%. Cool. I did that right. Please shout out if I'm doing something wrong. The next one is 16 modules with 182 azimuth. So I have array 2. I got 16 mods. I already forgot what the azimuth was. What was it? 182. Yeah, perfect. 27 tilt and solar availability. And you're just going to do this for as many arrays as you need. You're going to add additional arrays, but I've just built my 2-array system. I'm not going to add on any batteries, which you would do here. I'm going to hit save and continue. So it's very important to make sure you're entering the azimuth exactly tied to the number of mods, the tilt and the shade exactly tied to the number of mods. If there is anything that's off here, your production in Sunnova will likely not be that close to this production. So make sure you do that. JC, you should be able to unmute yourself now, I think.
Yeah, question. Click on the show system details again, please. I have a question about that. You see how it says array 2, 0. So when you're entering the arrays over there, are you supposed to put the arrays on array 1 at 10 and then leave array 2 at 0, or just put the numbers for array 3 as array 2 on Sunnova? Does that make sense?
Yes. You're only supposed to enter arrays that have modules turned on. So you would, this is one array, this is another array.
Got it. I thought that was the case, but somebody, put some doubt into me about that. And so, okay, good. I'm glad to know. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, good question. Yeah, what that is, Solo is using this one as array 2 when it's highlighted there, and we're not using that one. So.
Right.
All right, let's, Nick, go for it. Question on this topic?
Right now? Hey, JB, could you run that with the battery too, just to show how you do that?
I'm not going to do that right now. But maybe if we have extra time at the end, but for all intents and purposes, I'm going to hold off on that. And I know Jay is probably going to work on some extra video or flow chart of how to add the battery.
Yeah. I'll have that as a resource for you guys here soon. And if you guys need like additional training or want to touch on this, I'm always open to schedule something with you guys to do that. So
thanks, Jay. Thanks, JB.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so now we have a awesome 10 kilowatt system, identical to Solo with all the right numbers and equipment. And now is the fun part. So the cash price is $33,361 and 10 cents. Now, guys, I mostly do the PPA Easy. I think it's the best product Sunnova has. I could do loan as well. So I just want to show you the PPA Easy. I'm going to use this as an example for now. Now, EPC2 dealer that's like what Sunnova is gonna pay Powur. We need Sunnova to pay us $33,361.10, right? As we get that money, I get my $7,000 commission check. So we need to make $33,361 on this deal. Now, there's escalators or no escalators. So I'm going to show you both. For now, I'm going to do no escalator, no annual increase. I'm not going to do any down payment or rebate, and I'm just going to hit run pricing. So what it's doing now is, oh shit. And I might have messed around with the decimals here. 33,361. Learn something new every day. All right. So I get to give this customer a monthly Sunnova payment of $193. That's 15.2 cents a kilowatt hour with no annual increase, producing 15,196 kilowatt hours. The Edison leftover bill will be probably $15 to $25 a month. That's amazing. I'm going to make $7,000 for
huge
cutting someone's bill in frickin' half, guys. This is ridiculous with no escalator. You know what Sunrun is charging people? They start people at 18 cents to 19 cents with a 3.5 escalator. They are hosing them, and we are crushing them in this scenario. So again, 10.4, no escalator. I match the cash price. I know what the commission I'm making. Someone asked, what happens at the end of the 25-year period? Adam, it depends on the product, but for the easy PPA, for all intensive purposes, there's 4 common options. Number 1, the homeowner can buy it for the fair market value or the amount specified by Sunnova. They can renew the agreement, maybe another 5 or 10 years renewal. They can have us remove the system, or they can upgrade to the latest and greatest thing that's available at that time. So those are the 4 common options at the end of a 25-year easy PPA. All right, so now let's say, what if I want to do an escalator? What if we were okay with that 2.9 annual increase? And like Jay said, it takes about 12 years to break even against the no escalator. So we're going to go from $193 a month with no escalator, sheesh, down to $153 monthly Sunnova payment. That's 12.1 cents. So if we scroll down here, we can see the 193 at 15 cents, no escalator, or with the 2.9 escalator over here, 153 a month, 12 cents a kilowatt hour. That's truly hooking the customer up with this sweet deal. And I want to do one quick exercise as well here. What's the popular 25-year you guys are using out there? Maybe a good leap 25-year 599. It's $200 giving back the tax credit. 153 with an escalator, 193 with no escalator. Don't have to worry about a tax credit. Don't have to take a big fat loan or transfer this 25-year loan to the next person. So it can be, in some situations, based on discovery questions, tax appetites, homeowner goals, when they're going to move, how long they've been there. It can be a great option, like Mike Patterson said, right now with today's high interest rates. Why is Emmett sucking up to me right now? What do you want, Emmett? I'm just kidding. Thanks, brother. It's good to see you. Well, that's in a nutshell, showing you guys how to calculate PPA easy, or any of the products for that matter. what I like to do on the loan, 25-year loan, 4.99. Let me go back to cash. $3.21. I can't remember, Jay, if you guys add the dealer fee.
We do. So when you're dealing with a loan, this is perfect, Jonathan. I would always select dealer EPC per watt and enter that final price per watt found in the cash solar proposal, because the system will add the appropriate dealer fee to that amount. This is the easiest way to get those dealer fees calculated and shown accurately. You'll see it here. You guys, if you enter a final price per watt from Solo, you remember that cash product is not including a dealer fee, and you have to be aware of the cap, right? So this is 3.21 at a 5.99, so $3.21 plus a dealer fee of, let's say, 25%. So we have to be aware of, okay, there's a $7 cap. Is this going to push me over, right? There you go.
So I actually sold 2 of these recently, the 4.99 25-year product.
So as you guys can see here on the total EPC, $44,211.36. That's what the customer's paying. It's a total cost, right? But minus the dealer fee, you guys are, what's being paid out is $33,384. Okay.
Yeah, and if you check that 25-year 499 monthly Sunnova payment, which in California comes with a production guarantee, it actually doesn't show up on the credit report. 180. And if you come back over here, and if you try to look up against a Sunlight Financial 25-year 499, it's $48K and $205. Yep. So they save $4,000 and they save $25 a month with this option. So a little bit more work to do. For those of you that are new, you got to take your certification, work with mentors out there that have done this before, follow all the steps I did. It's a little more rigorous. This is what we all grew up on at Sunrun and Solar City for years and years. So if this is confusing you, work with a mentor. It's worth it. And take all the trainings. Because once you do this, guys, it's not hard. And then you just come over here to credit verification. You can run a soft check. And then you literally get it signed in Sunnova. You're off to the races. Do that welcome call in the first week or two. Otherwise, the job will cancel. And you're good to go. I've got a few Sunnova jobs in my pipeline right now. So let's see if there's any questions on this. If you want to raise your hand or come off mute, let me check the chat. Contracts are always for 25 years. Stefano asked, yes, that is true, Stefano. There are transfer options or buyout options at time of sale. So no difference there. Danny, the PPA Easy has a buyout option versus the lease. I think that's, to my opinion, that's the biggest difference. It's a little more flexible, and why not have more flexibility? But in some areas like Florida or maybe even LADWP, leases are only legally allowed. Sometimes PPAs are not allowed.
Jonathan, let's take this one step further. Go ahead and scroll down for me. Or view the quote that you generated. Yeah, view generate quotes. Going to scroll down. Let's add one of these to the save list. So in order to save the quote, guys, there's a 2-step process. You want to add the quotes that you're adding to the save list and then scroll down and save one quote. Because there was a question about where do we access the documents afterwards. So to summarize this, you created the lead as cash in Solo. Then you generated the lead, the utility, you created the design and the quote. Now we need to go to the quote in Sunnova's portal And this is where you're going to find credit verification, generate and review signed contracts. So if you click on generate proposal, downloading will download it obviously to your computer. Emailing will email a draft version of the proposal, customer facing, directly to the customer's email. Assuming that they want to move forward and we're in the signing portion of it, then clicking on review and sign contract once this menu comes off will allow you to send the documents as a DocuSign for them to sign literally over the phone. Or if you're in the home with them, you can click on that and it'll allow you to open up the documents right there in the moment. It does track your IP address, guys, so you can't just sign for people. So you can only use that sign now, like in the moment when you're in the home with that person.
Yep, I love downloading it, and then I send it to my clients, and then we do credit together in the home, or I send them it, and then they sign DocuSign via email.
Pretty simple.
Bam, bam, bam. All right, let's got some hands raised. Calvin, why don't you go first?
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. So Jonathan, for the part where you checked out the loan, I saw that you put the amount final price per watt for $3.21. That was for the cash one, right? But then shouldn't we change? Yeah, that part, shouldn't we change that based on what Sunlight's?
No, we were just comparing between Sunlight.
Oh,
you want to enter the cash proposal number. These are the bottom figures. If this customer is going to pay cash for everything, this is what it breaks down to. And that's what you want to transfer over. You can see he entered 321, but as he scrolls down, the actual final price per watt is 425. And that is because of the dealer fee.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
No worries.
Carlos, how you doing?
Good. A quick question. I live up in Florida Panhandle, and we're having a lot of issues with insurance companies canceling policies because people put solar on their home. Now, I know you guys cover the equipment, but in case of like a hurricane and the system's damaged, are you guys still going to cover the cost of replacing that damaged equipment?
So, you know, there are obviously degrees to that coverage. You know, God-given, you know, circumstances or natural disasters and stuff are covered on that to an extent. You'd want to reference kind of that coverage, kind of the fine print on there as to what exactly would or would not be covered. But like in the case of like a hurricane and stuff like that, we will cover most of that cost. Again, it's circumstantial to the degree of which it needs to be repaired, so on and so forth.
Do you have an example of what would cause it not to be covered?
I know, like for example, if you lived on a golf course and a golf ball hit it, landed on a solar panel, we're not going to cover that, right?
Yeah, because I remember when I was in Arizona and when I was working with Solar City, they wouldn't even install
on a golf course
a system on a golf course at all.
Yeah. So we won't. It's not like we won't install there, but again, that coverage is going to be more limited then.
Okay.
Would you mind if I ask one quick question before?
Yeah, Fred, go for it. And then we'll do Kevin right after.
I'll make it very quick and I apologize. At the end on the 5th year, you said the option that they can purchase in PPA. Does the coverage of the warranty, especially for the battery, will that continue for next 20 years or is that because they have purchased?
It will continue. Doesn't matter when they pay it off, whether it's on day 1 or year 5 or year 10, the coverage is going to last throughout the entire agreement.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your answer.
It's a great question.
Thanks, Fred. Kevin.
Hey, how you doing?
Awesome.
Thanks, guys, for doing this training. I did one of these the other day, and where you put in the information instead of the price per watt, I had a lease, and you know how you put the total cash amount? You check the first box. I had checked the second one for the price per watt and put in what the what it showed on Solo. Is there any difference in those two in the end result?
Not really. That's a great question. It's just, you're just choosing a way for the system to display that information. You're getting to the same endpoint, whether you enter how Jonathan did initially with the entire cost amount or the final price per watt. Where I would take note on that is when you're doing a loan, I would do the dealer EPC per watt, just because again, it's going to factor in the dealer fee for you. But really the end result, you're getting to the same spot, just different ways.
All right. And another quick question is, Florida, the batteries are not covered, but for 10 years. Is that correct? Excluded out of the 25-year warranty on the batteries?
Not to my knowledge. I'll have to confirm that. I'm not sure where you got that, but I don't think that there's any special cases for Florida like that.
Yeah, I just did the training. There was a few things that Florida was excluded out of. But,
I'll confirm that for you. But my understanding, that might be an old training. My understanding is that that's covered, nationwide.
Okay, well, that's good. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank y'all.
Green Realtor Tammy, what's going on?
Hi.
Hey,
from Arizona. Yes, real quick. What resources does Sunnova have to help with real estate transactions and help realtors, help buyers, sellers, etc.? I mean, we've had some, some market resistance to leases and TPOs, etc. And now we're just looking at maybe shifting in some of that. And the more we can help with people get comfortable with that process, the better. So just curious, how is Sunnova addressing that aspect of the process in some way with some resources?
So, we're obviously, we want to be as resourceful as we can by including markets like real estate and in the mortgage industry. We do have workshops and training materials available for people in that industry to address kind of those frequently asked questions and concerns. But, really, I would say I'm kind of the best liaison for that at this time right now, Tammy. So if you do have any specific requests or, hey, how is this going to work, or how can we work around this? Feel free to reach out to me directly and I can point you in the right direction in terms of what resources we have available. We're doing everything we can to be as resourceful as we possibly can for most people. So, but the best way is just to reach out to me directly.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
On that too, Tammy, I don't know if you're able to download and open that Sunnova transfer document I put in the chat there, or get onto a computer and get that, or send me an email. But that's a nice brochure that just shows their transferability, the departments that can help them. I've shared that with a realtor or two, and I shared that with clients that help transfer the home from one buyer to the next recently. So.
Okay,
yeah, and
wonderful.
I did give you guys that QR code for the Sunnova Resource Hub. There's going to be a lot of training materials in there that'll address your questions as well.
Thank you.
Of course.
All righty. Well, I'm going to stop this recording right now. I'll hang out for a little bit longer, but before I end the recording, just a big shout out to Jay for all your help helping Powur grow. I know we barely scratched the surface with Sunnova, and I know we're going to see more and more deals with the high interest rates, with NEM 3 coming. So thank you everyone for attending, and thank you again, Jay and Sunnova, for all you do for us.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you guys. And just a little background. Month over month since I've taken over for the last 6 months, originations from Powur has been growing. And so we're noticing the effort. We're seeing what you guys are doing out there. And I'm happy to be a part of the growth, and whatever I can do to help, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good day, guys.